Hello, I'm Val, or Space Valkyries. I'm a queer variety streamer and sci-fi fantasy writer, and this is my review of Life is Strange: True Colors. Life is Strange: True Colors is a narrative-focused action-adventure game with puzzle-solving elements and a lot of feelings. You play as Alex Chen, who just arrived in the small Colorado town of Haven Springs to live with her long-lost brother Gabe. And whew, has she been through it, and she's about to go through it some more.
Welcome to Haven.
Alex has the power of empathy with a capital E, and can experience the strong emotions of others. With her powers, if someone is very angry, for example, she'll feel it and more. She becomes just as angry, just as sad, just as scared. If a person is feeling their feels intensely enough, or if an object has enough residual emotions attached, she's also able to peek into their mind and experience the memories behind those emotions. When her brother is killed in a so-called accident, Alex is determined to use her powers to uncover what really happened that night, and she ends up untangling a big knot of lies, deeply woven through this small town. This game is an intense and heavy roller coaster of emotions. The writing, animation, and voice acting are so beautiful in places, and I cried at the ending because it resonated with me that strongly. The themes in this made me feel so seen, and simultaneously made me feel so vulnerable. And while True Colors isn't flawless, especially when it comes to pacing in the final chapters and a lack of content warnings overall, it was easily my favorite Life is Strange experience, and I really loved it. Also, you can romance Steph, so you know, my femme bi self was living.
Steph, there's a very real chance that you awoke something in Diane.
Wouldn't be the first time.
As with other Life is Strange games, this is a choice-heavy story experience, so gameplay mechanics mostly revolve around selecting dialogue or solving puzzles with Alex's power to unlock new dialogue options. There are some QuickTime events, and some dialogue choices have timers, but the game has options for longer timers, which really helped me because I am super indecisive. There is an accessibility section in the settings menu with some solid options versus other games. You have one alternative font for subtitles, longer choice timers, skip gameplay prompt, which I wish had an easier gameplay option, not just skip entirely, but I was glad it was there because I'm often too anxious to do quick time events. There's also an option to tap rather than hold down a button for jogging or using your powers, and color filters for colorblind folks, which was neat. There's also two other options, a brightness warning and a volume warning. Those I didn't enable, but they're interesting inclusions since the game has no built-in content warnings of any other kind, but I'll get more into that in a bit. First, let's get into what I really liked and loved about this game, which is like most of it, so I'm gonna try my best to be concise, but I'm so sorry.
Hell yeah, let's rock and roll. I don't know why I said that.
Me neither. But I love the enthusiasm.
First, I really enjoyed how they handled Alex's powers. Empathy powers are not a new concept, but I was pleasantly surprised by how her abilities worked, as well as the writing around them. It was also really refreshing that keeping your superpowers a secret wasn't really the point. Like, the narrative really makes it clear Alex having these abilities doesn't make her weird or broken or cursed. She just has these abilities, and I really loved that message. And I absolutely love the colors they chose for which emotions. Purple for fear, red for anger, blue for sad, and so on. Seriously, I could devote an entire section of this review just to the colors used in this game. Like, I know it's literally called True Colors, but the details are still unreal. How they applied emotions visually is just so cool. Like when a character is feeling both angry and sad, their face might be outlined on one side with red, and outlined on the other side in blue. It's just so powerful and so gorgeous. Haven Springs as a setting is also just as gorgeous. The game gives you these zen moments too, where you can just relax and let the camera pan around and enjoy the vibes while Alex takes a moment to stop and think. It gives a much needed breather from the plot's intensity. On top of all that, the facial animations are really, really good, especially small eye and mouth movements. Alex in particular has so many micro expressions that are really, really well done. Also, I'm just like really bisexual. And Alex, Ryan, and Steph have really great smiles and other expressions, and just, yeah. Speaking of Ryan and Steph, they are the two romance options in the game. But more than that, they're Alex's friends, and I absolutely felt that in how they engaged with her. Ryan is an endearing, bird-loving himbo who just wants to do right by the town and his friends. Steph is the local radio host and a LARP-loving badass. They were Gabe's best friends, and the two of them form a strong bond with Alex. Outside of some indicators of interest to let you know they're romanceable though, it's very much just fun friendship shenanigans and emotional support moments, and I love that a lot. It felt very real. Which, overall, most character interactions felt really believable and real, which I think is a testament to the voice acting, the script, and the animations. And that's honestly pretty high praise for me. So again, all of that is just so good. And I appreciate that the game took the time to personalize the story and the characters involved with these small moments. Because these seemingly small and casual interactions really give you a sense of everyone's personalities and what they struggle with. And a lot of it is understandable. Most of us have dealt with similar emotions. If you've ever grieved or struggled with how to talk to people about what you're going through, it gets you attached, just as Alex is getting attached, and learning how to navigate her powers, connecting to others, friendship, and what community even means. Which makes those big, emotionally intense moments all the more impactful because I was so invested in a lot of these characters, from Ethan and Charlotte to Riley and Eleanor, and of course, Ryan and Steph. Also, there was a cat named Valkyrie, whose nickname is Val. Like, come on, this game was meant for me.
Val, I just want to be friends.
Also, as a writer, I love how they handle Alex's internal monologue. This style of internal narration is a mainstay in the Life is Strange series, but I connected with Alex's thought processes a little bit more than I did in other characters with the previous games, maybe because I related to her so much more personally than other characters. This was especially true when she was talking about guitar, because I'm also getting back into playing guitar again after dropping it for a long time. Or when she's making snarky comebacks to something internally about her emotional trauma, just same. There's so many tiny places that made me smile. The writing in this game is just so good.
Perfect.
That guy's bad to the gnome.
Right? I heard he won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh God, please stop.
No problem.
Alex's voice actress, Erica Mori, absolutely kicks ass in this role, and I can't wait to see what other characters she voices in the future. Alex is such a compelling and delightful character, which is important, because this game is all about her journey through learning how to emotions, and trusting others, and processing trauma and grief. But with heavier topics, important and beautiful though they may be, comes great responsibility to consider your audience. So please, 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 have easily accessible content warnings somewhere, I beg. It was easily my biggest dislike since there were so many other accessibility options. It would have been nice to have a content warning list per chapter, or even a list of content warnings on their website somewhere. Just some content warnings somewhere that I could find easily. And I'm going to state this very clearly. Wanting content warnings does not mean I'm saying don't engage in heavy topics. I genuinely adored this game and am very enthusiastically going to tell you to go play it. But also content warnings help and go a long way when it comes to really intense subject matter. The other thing was the pacing felt a little off towards the end. It felt a little padded, especially with some of the scenes in the final chapter. It was a big enough distraction to note it, but ultimately the pacing balances back out in the final sections of the last chapter, and I cried. I fully cried. Why? Well, I don't want to get too into spoilers, but Alex has these amazing empathy powers, right? And you spend so much of your time in this game fixing stuff or helping other people. Then, ultimately, the game ends up asking Alex, and by proxy you, the player, are you taking care of yourself though? Have you looked at what you needed? Are you processing what you've had to go through? Because you've been through a lot. And that really hit me. Because the strong people in your life are almost always used to tucking their grief, their anger, their sadness, their fear, maybe even their joy away so they can help balance other people out. But you need to take the time to ask yourself what you want and need, and to be willing to genuinely look at that and see what the answers are. And that's such a powerful and beautiful theme. It was so good, and I'll be thinking about that and chewing on that and processing my own answers to that question for days to come. So of course I absolutely recommend this game to anyone that loves narrative-heavy games, anyone that enjoys stories that tackle heavier topics in a very real and powerful way, and anyone that just wants to be gay and enjoy flirting with Steph and or Ryan, you know. And that's it for this review. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe. I know this video was posted a bit earlier because I wanted to upload this as soon as possible, but I usually post videos every other Thursday or every Thursday if I'm having a good enough energy time, you know, that good old chronic illness life. And if you want to support me, you can become a member on Ko-fi and get sneak peeks and early access to videos as well as monthly updates and other fun stuff. Till next time. Life is Strange: True Colors is a narrative-focused action-adventure game with mystery